so much. Okay, Dorothy reminded me. Are we recording? Okay. What's interesting is that you talked about the. I would term it as internal, the pressure on you from the higher ups. Correct? You see, rather than, and I think we're all facing that. Yes, no. Even for those of us that are our own boss, we pressure ourselves, right? And instead of trying to handle that pressure, let's figure out how we can get how we can talk to more prospects, how we can have more meetings, how we can close more deals. I think that would be the answer to that question, right, Guan Yu? Okay,
Yep.
so the question is not how do we get them off our back, because when we answer the question, can I close deals even in this shitty situation? And if we can answer that question, then we would get them off our back, right? Okay. So the fundamental thing is, especially in Malaysia, when we call a company, freaking nobody's there, right? And then chance, if by some miracle somebody answers the phone and you say, I want to talk to so and so, oh, he's work from home. I get this so many times, I get this too. Yeah, I need to talk to so and so. Oh, he's work from home. Okay, how can I get a hold of him? You can send him an email. Freaking nobody reads the email, right? And then I say I need a way to contact them. Oh, yeah, you can email. No, I need the number. I've spoken to so and so before, always in the office, and I need his mobile number because we're on a deadline. Oh no, I cannot give that out to you. And then I'm going, ugh, your work from home. This is my reasoning, and I think we all share this, right? Your work from home. That means you're supposed to be available, all right? And if you're supposed to be available, the only way I can contact you is by phone or by email, and you don't freaking answer your email, so I need to give you a call. But your phone number is private, personal. Do we face that? Yes. Okay. So how do we overcome that? How we overcome that is, we'll talk about this probably tomorrow, where we talk about push and pull marketing and selling. All right. Whatever our business is, we must use push and pull. Push means you go out and you try to grab them, or maybe the official terminology is wrong. But how I look at it is, I got to go out and get people, right? And then the other way is the pull marketing, where they discover about us, me, and what we're doing, and then they get in touch with us. Okay, so whatever your business is, you got to do both. All right. For those that work in the company, and it's not unusual to get this. All right. You have a responsibility to get prospects, to get clients, right? And so you need to have some kind of mechanism where people are getting in touch with you, and we'll talk about that during the prospecting session. Okay. Anybody else want to share a particular situation or a question that they have? Yes, Valerie, go ahead.
Hi, I'm Valerie. I'm from Philippines, Manila, Philippines. I'm currently into logistics tracking services. So one of the challenges that I have is that many tracking services, truckers here in the Philippines, in Manila
Hmm.
particularly. How can I maintain my competitive edge considering that we only have one service to render, which is the tracking to transfer from point A to point B. So
Okay.
that's the very challenge that I'm usually encountering every now and then. How to maintain my competitive edge.
Okay.
Thank you.
Uh, you're welcome. Okay. The Your competitive edge is actually your pricing. All right. In your case, um, in trucking and logistics, there's a lot of competition, especially now, right? Your pricing is 80 to 90% higher than your competitors, right? And there's a reason for that. So when we talk to clients or we talk to prospects, right? We don't say, "Oh, we do this, we do this, we do this," because the you see, and this applies to everyone. If you just tell people, "Oh, I do this, I do this, I do this, and I can do this for you," you're gonna sound like everybody else. You're gonna sound just like the competition. And if you're lucky, your pricing is lower than your competition. If you're lucky, but if you're not lucky, your pricing is higher. And if you sound like your competition, you see, if you sound like your competition, yeah, ladies and gentlemen, if you sound like your competition, then they're going to treat you all the same. And when they treat you the same as your competition, what do they look at? They look at price. And then what happens is you turn them into a price buyer. And when they look at price, do you think they're going to spend the most? They're going to buy the most expensive option? No, because you did not differentiate yourself from your competition. And we'll talk about how you can differentiate yourself. We're going to talk about that in these 3.5 days. All right. Do we have any final comments or John? Yeah, we talked about that, right? John says share. I always share all the info to the wrong prospect. We're going to talk about qualifying, right? We're going to talk about qualifying. Later on, I'll share a story with you about qualifying. In fact, let me write this down. If I forget, somebody tell me Dr. Kettle Hut, and I'll remember that story. All right, but I wrote it down. I'll try my best to remember. You don't share all your information first. You share a little bit to see whether their interest comes up a little bit. Then you qualify them, and we'll talk about qualifying. The basic qualifiers are: can they afford it? Can you solve a problem that they have? Those are the two basic qualifiers. If you can get somebody that has a problem that you can solve, and they can afford it, that's a prospect. And then that's when we start the more in-depth sales process. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Yes, no? Yeah, okay. Let's see. Okay, so shall we get started? Yes. Awesome. Yes. Okay. So let me go ahead and start this up. I will share the screen. Just bear with me one quick second. And along the way, if you have questions, I'm monitoring the chat as well. So if you have questions, just type it in the chat. Also, uh, you can challenge me at any time. All right. If I say something and then you go, "That's bullshit," all right, you can call me on it, and and I'll explain to you why I'm saying what I'm saying and why I'm asking you to do what I'm asking you to do. Is that fair? Because I don't have all the answers. Uh, Nobody is perfect. Even though we all try to be as close to perfect as we can. In my opinion, there's no such thing as perfection. What I prefer to what I prefer to strive for is mastery. Does that make sense? Sheila, do you have something to eat there as well? No? No? Okay, awesome. If not, you have to share with all of us. Okay? Okay, let me go ahead and get the slides up. And just do me a favor, if you can see my screen, just nod your head or wave because I can see you. All right, and I'm gonna get the this one open so I can prepare for any questions that you have for me. Okay, okay. So uh, you can raise your hand or you can type in the chat any question that you have, and I'll either address it at that moment or a little bit later in at some point of time. All right. Oh, another thing. We are going from 9:30 a.m. to 1 p.m. However, depending on the interaction that we have and how how quickly we cover some of the topics, I'm not going to rush through. But if we finish a little bit earlier than 1 p.m., I'm not the kind of guy that says, "Oh no, we said 1 p.m. We're going to stay until 1 p.m." If we're a little bit more efficient, if we finish a little bit early, we will stop it early and we pick it up tomorrow. Is that okay? Yes. Yeah. Now I see some smiles. Oh, finish early. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want that. Right? Okay. So, let's see. Okay. So, this is the overview of the topic that we're covering in the next 3.5 days. It sounds uh, simple. It is simple, um, but it's not easy. Does that make sense? All right. Everything that I share with you is very step by step, is very systematic. It's very sequential. Okay. But every component, yeah, it's simple, but some of it is a little bit hard to implement. All right. But that's why we're in the profession that we are in. All right. The basic goal or the basic outcome is so that we can sell easier, faster, as well as professionally. All right. And I'll just run through this very quickly here. Uh, I'm very sure, I'm very sure all of us have these questions, right? That we say, oh, not enough clients, right? Or we say, damn, I closed this deal already. Where am I going to get the next one next week or next month? All right. And if you want to get a client next week or next month, the prospecting and the process starts today. All right. We have to be careful because there's a lot of information out there. There's a lot of people that teach on theory, and the reason I can share my experiences is because I've been selling for let's see, I've been selling for about 28, 29 years. I've sold in several different countries. I've sold products and services, tangibles and intangibles, to different markets at all levels of the spectrum, from the C level to the board level, down to the individual level. So, and also to governments. All right. So I've sold to in B2B, B2C, as well as B2G. I have clients in hundreds of different industries in 14 different countries. Training is not all that we do because it's very easy to talk about, oh, you should do this and you should do this, and then if you don't do it yourself, you're lying to people. Okay. I started my company in 1998 in San Diego. Before that, I was just a normal salesperson. I sold cars, for 3 years, broke records when I was selling cars, and then I joined a magazine. I joined a magazine. My job was to sell advertising. I never, hardly ever met any of my clients in those, in that 1 year plus that I was at the magazine, because our clients were all over the U.S. We had some clients in the U.K., and I never met them face to face. And back then, we didn't have this Zoom thing, right? Okay, so it was all done over the phone. When when you're selling on the phone, what is the only sense or the sensory? What is the only sensory that you have? Anybody want to guess? When you're selling on the phone, right? It's only what they can hear. And so if they can only hear you, Jahan, you need to pay attention to this, yeah? If they can only hear you, what you need to do is you need to make it an immersive experience for them. What does that mean? What it means is the words that you, this is the only thing you can do on the phone. Is the words that you use, how you use it, and your tonality, your pitch, your volume, and we'll cover that for you also. Okay? When you review this video later on, you're going to find, when I explain it, yeah, you're going to find that I vary my speed, I vary my tonality, I vary my pitch, my volume, and I will explain how to do that. If you can master this when you're talking on the phone, all right? If you can master this when you're talking on the phone, you can do it in person or on a platform like this, all right? And I'm gonna share with you how we do that. Okay. Now, here's what I believe. You've heard me say this before. Um, the pandemic, the lockdown, this COVID, the pandemic is not what's breaking us. Now, before, before 2020, uh, I've been talking to sales professionals, I've been talking to entrepreneurs and business owners for more than 20 years. All right. Like I said, I started my company in 1998. My company is 23 years old. So I've talked to sales professionals, entrepreneurs, and business owners for over 20 years. The the intensity of what we're facing now is higher. I will admit that. But the things that you're saying, not to pick on you, Yakwanyo, I'm going to use what you said as an example. Oh, management is, the bosses is on our back. They want target. They want this, this, this. Have we ever said that before 2020? Yes, we have, right? And I've heard it. I've heard that phrase and that question for 20 years. So, the pandemic is not what is causing us pain. Of course it is, but it's not causing all of our problems. It's actually revealing what is broken, or it's revealing what we need to fix, and we need to fix all of this now. Okay, we don't want to be we don't want to be like some governments. We don't want to be like where we have experience in COVID for 1.5 years and we still don't know what the shit we're doing, right? Okay, we as ourselves, as professionals, as the leaders in our family or members of our family or leaders of your team, we need to fix all these things now. All right. And so, how do we fix that? How we fix it is that we need to obtain and we need to enhance our skills and implement strategies. There's no other way around it. You see, there's nothing magical that will happen that something will float down on you and then all of a sudden you become, yeah, I can close every deal. It doesn't work that way. Okay? So, how do we do that? How we do that is we talk about skill implementation or skill acquisition, a skill development. All right. Let me ask you this question. You can type your answer in the chat, or you can just raise your hand. How many of us believe that to get ahead in the sales profession, and in business, to have business success, you must have talent? Yes, no. If you think that you must have talent, put in talent. Type talent in the chat. Valerie, you think you must have talent to be able to get ahead? Okay, I accept that. All right. Anybody else? Dorothy, not necessary. Okay. Talent to act. Yeah. Okay. That's a good one, George. That's a good one. Okay. Kwan Yu, you're right. I agree with you. All right. Oh, I gotta adjust this. Okay. At least a bit. All right. Let me share this with you. Okay. We talk about skills and we talk about talent. Um, I will share with you. A couple of things about myself. I have no talents. I have no talent. Okay. What I have though is I've developed skills and I've acquired skills and I practice skills over the last 20, 27, 28 years. All right. My basic background is this. I was born in Singapore. My dad's American. My mom's Chinese. All right. My dad passed away when I was 7 years old. We grew up poor. Okay, singing. Okay, singing is a talent, but you need. We're not talking about that. All right, we're talking about business. Okay, Valerie. So, if you ask me to sing, I will absolutely refuse to sing. Okay, so grew up poor. Now, when you're going through that, it's very tough. But in hindsight, there were other people, other families that were worse than us. All right, I didn't do well in school. I had, in fact, my results were extremely bad. Um, After I barely completed my A levels at the age of 17 plus, I went to work at a factory. I was a factory worker. Okay, I worked at the factory for about 9 months, and then I went into the army. Okay, I went into the army. Now that one I liked, but I also had to develop skills. I liked it so much that I signed a contract for 6 years. Okay, after after my 6 years, I decided to go to the U.S. My dad's American, but I'd never been there, so I went to the U.S. and I worked on my uncle's farm. So I was basically like a farmer, all right. And then I worked at a tire shop. Okay, when you change your tires, there's one guy that takes the tires out and changes it, right? I was that guy. I changed tires. Then I felt I was unhappy with what I was doing, and then I went into sales because I couldn't find anything else. How many of us how many of us here, yeah, when you're growing up, you go, "Oh, I want to talk to people. I want to do sales, and I want to talk to people and get rejected all the time." Anybody said that? No, right? Okay. So I went into sales, never sold before, or sold successfully before. And uh my first month, my second month, I was the worst performer. I was the worst performer selling cars. Out of if I remember, about 30, 35 people, I was I was the worst performer. Okay, and I was saying, should I be doing this, right? And then what I realized that I needed to, for some reason, at the age of 20 25, I told myself I need to um, I need to get better. And so the next question was, if I need to get better, what do I need to do? And what I need to do is I need to learn skills. Now, learning skills is not enough, and we'll cover that in a bit. All right. When you learn the skills, it must be the right skills, and when you get the right skills, you must practice every day. I said this before. Let me ask you all a question. Just raise your hand or give me a thumbs up if you kind of agree with me. All right. Handling objections. Uh, we get that all the time. In fact, we should be getting it every day. If you're talking to prospects every day, you're going to get objections every day. All right. So, to be able to handle objections, is it important? Yes or no? Yes, no? Yes. Okay. When is the last time? When is the last time that you practice handling objections? Don't need to answer that. Don't answer that. Most people will say, "Huh? Need to practice." That's what most people will say. Okay. uh, about 8, 9 years ago, no, actually about 10 or 11 years ago, I wrote a manual called How to Handle Every Single Objection. Okay, so it took us like 1 year to collect all the data, test everything. Every response in that objection manual was tested. Okay, and I wrote the manual. We sold, I think, several thousand copies of it. All right, I wrote the manual. I'm talking to clients every single day. All right. Do I still need to practice handling objections? Yes or no? Just answer me yes or no. Do I still need to? Yes, I need to. I will tell you that I practice handling objections every day by myself. All right. Um, I will take the manual, I'll pick out two, and I practice that. When I finish it, I will start again. All right. I will practice my closes. Because to be able to close, you cannot be you you can feel nervous inside, but you cannot be nervous. Does that make sense? And I'm going to tell you. Okay, let me ask you this question. Let me unshare the screen very quickly. Yeah. Okay. Let me ask you this question. How many of us? Uh, oh, George, you asked me a question. I can tell you. I can tell you. I can tell you in a little bit. All right. Let me ask you this question. Who would like to be more confident? Okay. How do you be more confident? Anybody know? Anybody know how to be more confident? Okay. Casey, me, right? Well, Kieran, okay, fake it till you make it. That's very interesting. I'm gonna share with you exactly how you become more confident. Is that okay? In a little bit, and it's not like um, fake it till you make it. I've done that also, Kieran. I've done that also. Um, you know, uh, similar to the fake it that you make it, right, Kieran? There's the face your fear, correct? Face your fear and do it. Hey, you know what? That's bullshit. Okay. If we have time later, I'll share another story about fear. Okay. Um, you overcome fear, or actually, it's very hard to overcome fear. All right. Um, but you can handle fear. Okay. How many of you love making cold calls? Anybody? You love cold calls. Anybody? Yes, no? Okay. Because if you say yes, I need to ask you, what medication do you take? And you need to share it with us so that we can stop being afraid of cold calling. I've cold call I've cold call for 26 years until today, except like today, tomorrow, and Thursday. Yeah, until the present time, I still schedule out 2 hours of my day to cold call. So I've been cold calling for 26 years. When I started my sales career at the magazine, we were cold calling 6 to 7 hours a day. When I started my company, I was cold calling for 6 to 7 hours a day, 6 days a week. Do I love cold calling? I've done it every day for the last 26 years. Who thinks I love cold calling? Okay, who thinks I don't like? Yeah, I will tell you, cold calling is the thing that I hate the most. Okay, but I still do it every day, and I've become good at it. Just because you're good at something, it doesn't mean that you have to like it. You see, we've heard before, oh, follow your passion and you make money, right? Correct? Have you heard that before? BS. BS. My passion is not in cold calling, but I got good at it and I get results out of it. I don't need to like the activity that I'm doing that will give me the result that I want. I just have to be good at it. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Okay. You see, you don't have to like cold calling. You don't have to like qualifying. You don't have to like handling objections. You don't have to like to do all those things. You just have to freaking do it. All right. You just have to do it. Okay. Let me get back to our screen. Just bear with me a sec. Okay, so we talk about skills versus talent. Talent, is like maybe something you're born with, or you develop a talent and then you nurture it. Skills, yeah, you acquire skills and you implement them. And I'm going to share with you a formula how you can become more confident. And the formula is so basic that every single one of us can do it starting today. Starting today, you can do it. All right. So these are the topics that we're going to cover the next 3.5 days. All right. And we're going to focus on three things. We're going to focus on three things on each of these topics that you see on the screen. We're going to cover the skills. We're going to cover the mindset, and we're going to cover the tools. Oh, I did forget to mention. Uh, you can take notes. I encourage you to take notes. I encourage you to take screenshots. All right. Awesome, Valerie. Okay. I'm also going to send you a PDF of everything that we see over the next 3.5 days. I'm going to send you a PDF so you have it as a workbook that you can follow along when you watch the recording. Is that okay? Yes. Okay. So you don't need to copy the slides. You can just, and if you notice, I put the slide number at the bottom. Like over here, you see number 7. So when you take your notes here, you don't need to write everything out. You can just put number 7, and that'll refer back. That can refer you back to that particular slide. All right. Let me put this chat up real quick so I can monitor that. Okay. So I think it was Kwan Yu. You said something about desperate, right? We don't want to sound desperate. Was it you that said it earlier? Okay. We don't want to be this guy. We do not want to be this guy. We want to come across. We want to come across as uh, calm, cool, and collected. All right. We want to come across as confident and professional. We want to come across as not, hey, I'm begging, please buy from me. I do not do that. To be able to not do that, you have to do certain things so that you don't seem begging and needy and pushy. And I'm going to teach you exactly how to do that because most of the time it happens in 2 or 3 parts of the sales process. It happens when you first talk to them, right? When you first prospect, you come across as like, oh, I'm a salesperson, I need you, right? It comes across when you're trying to close. It comes across when you're trying to follow up. Do y'all kind of agree in those 3 situations? Yeah. So I'm going to teach you how to. I cannot promise you that it will eradicate the feeling. But what I'm going to do is I'm going to teach you how to lower it to a point that only you kind of know and they cannot tell. All right. And I appreciate the time that we share together over the next 3.5 days. And I promise to always share relevant, timely, and valuable information with you. We will record this. Thank you, Dorothy, for reminding earlier. We are recording this, and we will send you the recording. Uh, no hard selling today. It's all information and techniques. Okay. Now, everything that I share with you, I promise you from the bottom of my heart, everything that I share with you is effective. Okay. I know it's effective because I do it every day and I get my results every single day. I teach this to the clients, to my clients, to my students. Everything that I share with them is effective. All right. But it's also part of a complete process. Does anybody have a birthday in July? Anybody? July? Just type me if you have a birthday in July. Jahan, what's your birthday? Do you mind sharing? 16th. That's the week after next. Oh no, that's next week, right? Next week. Okay. Mine is the 20th. If anybody wants to send me and Jahan a present, just ask for our address or and just let us know. 20th. Anybody want to guess how old I will be on the 20th of July? Anybody want to guess? Just type the number in the chat. If your number is extremely high, yeah, Dorothy 54, Yati 52, Karen 35. That's too much, yeah. Nadrul, where are you? Let me find you, Nadrul.
I'm here. I'm here. I'm here.
You know, 54, Nadrul. Okay, you know what? You and I will talk after 1 p.m. today. All right. I'm 51. I'll be 51 in a couple weeks. All right. But that's not the point. The point is everything that we do has a complete process. The reason why I bring up a birthday is because what do we usually have during birthdays? We have a cake, right? Right? Yes, no, birthday cake. Okay. If you think of your favorite cake, maybe you think of chocolate or whatever cake is. Um, but I want you to think of your your favorite cake. All right, and I want you to think that maybe I want to bake that cake for myself, but you've never baked a cake before. All right, so when you see every cake has the same basic ingredients, doesn't it? Right, Kieran? Do you know what those ingredients are, Kieran? It's flour, eggs, milk, sugar. If it's chocolate cake, you put chocolate, vanilla, all those things, right? Right, Zoe? Right? Every cake has those or cheesecake. Yeah, okay. So every cake has those basic ingredients. Let's say you want to make a chocolate cake. You have all those basic ingredients. You have chocolate, and you just make a cake. All right, but you're trying to make your favorite world famous chocolate cake. But if you don't have the recipe, even though you have all the ingredients, when it comes out of the oven, is it going to be the same as that famous chocolate cake? Yes or no? Yes or no? It's not. Even though all the ingredients are the same. Every single one of us, whatever our role, whatever our product, whatever our service, we are all revenue generators. What that means is we're all sales professionals. Every single one of us is a sales professional, and every single one of us has a sales process. Our sales process might have some variation, some differences with every other single sales professional in the whole world. Okay? The sales process is very similar. It has steps, and the sales process must be done in the right order, at the right way, with the right technique. You cannot just go, I'm going to try and do it. Okay? And I'm going to share with you exactly what those steps are and what are the things that must be done in the right order. And to get better, you must do two things. Okay? To get better, you must do two things because we can all learn skills. We can all learn skills. However, to get better and improve, we must practice and we must implement. Skill acquisition, you must practice it. Okay? If you don't practice, it's going to be shit. You can practice it to the best of your ability until it's perfect, but if you don't take action, it's not worth anything, right? Okay? And we must make sure, okay? Quality product, reasonable price, exceptional value, excellent service. We all do these things, right? And if you're a little bit lacking in any of these areas, fix it right away because the expectations of your prospects, the expectations of the customers has gone higher. The reason it's gone higher is because everybody has less money, right? And for us to spend or invest that money, they have to make sure that they're putting it in the right place. And it's your job to make sure that you are the right place. Does that make sense? Yeah? Okay. The overall foundation, the overall foundation is that we must fix the funnel process. The funnel process is your pipeline. You must okay, your pipeline starts from lead generation to the close or the follow up or the fulfillment. At every stage of your pipeline, now some of us have pipelines that are a couple hours. Some of us have pipelines that are days. Some of us have pipelines that are months long. All right. At every stage of your funnel process, you must have people in that stage. You must know that I have new people that I need to talk to today. I have people that I got to set the first appointment. I got people that I send the proposal. I got people that we're doing the board meeting or the discussion, the in depth, the trial. the follow up, the close, the fulfillment. You must have prospects at every stage of your funnel or sales process. All right, because what's important for you to have success, for you to when you get the management of your back, is that you must think of your client and revenue pipeline. You can never ever have an empty pipeline. I'll give you an example. For and don't answer this out loud, okay? All of us on this session have experienced I did great this month. Yes, hit quota, get bonus, or close for the individual business owners. I closed these deals. Yeah, I'm like Superman or Superwoman this month, right? Right? And then next month it's like, hey, how come I cannot close? The reason you cannot close is because you didn't have people that were ready to close next month. And the reason you didn't have people that were ready to close next month, is because you didn't put them in your pipeline. Think of it as a conveyor belt. When the conveyor belt, full of things, right, and then suddenly it's empty, it means that you didn't do something earlier. All right, you got to look at your business, okay, whether you work for a company or you work for yourself or you work with a partner. You must think of your business as a sales process and a sales pipeline. Forget about I'm not talking about the fulfillment and things like that, right? That one is your responsibility. What I'm talking about is, think of your pipeline right now. Think of your pipeline. Do you have gaps in your pipeline? Very seldom, very seldom do I come across a sales or business professional that says, I got people at every point in my pipeline. Okay. And I sometimes have gaps in my pipeline as well. And the reason I have gaps in my pipeline is because for a few days or maybe a week, I didn't focus on analyzing my pipeline. And that's why I have gaps. And as soon as I find out I have gaps, I work to fix it. Now, to be able to do all these things that I've talked about so far, and to be able to do all the things that we will talk about in the next remaining 3.5 days. Yes, George, qualifying stages, but not just the qualifying stages, but at every stage. All right, we must have. This is so cliche sometimes, right? It's like we must have the championship mindset, right? And sometimes I hesitate to use this, uh, but it's what people relate to. People saying the champion is like, yeah, yeah, like that, right? But you know what? You don't have to. You can be calm, cool, and collected. All right. But the championship mindset is more the inside than it is the outside. Okay. Let me clarify this. Okay. Do not answer this, please, out loud, or don't type the answer in the chat. Just answer in your head. Do you ever like wake up at whatever time you wake up and you go, I don't know how to face the day. Okay. Have you ever sat at your desk, your table, wherever it is, right? And you want to pick up the phone and you're supposed to follow up with a prospect, and then I think he's going to tell me no, I don't feel like it, right? We've all experienced that, isn't it? Right? But how do you still do it even though you don't feel like it? Okay. I will share a couple things with you. Okay. I have prospects as well. Okay. These prospects I know are not going to buy. I know they will not buy, but we've talked for a little bit. And at the back of my mind, when I say, oh, you know what, this idiot is not going to buy from me, right? I will think that, right? And then, my first thought, what do you think my first thought is when I say that? Okay. My first thought when I say that is like, then you know what? I'm not going to call. I'm not going to call because he's going to tell me no, right? Why do I want to be rejected? But do you know what I do? I still call. I still do everything I can, even though I kind of know that they'll say no. I will still do it because I want to get the rejection out of the way. I want to clear my pipeline. You see, a maybe is worse than a yes or a no. A maybe is you lying to yourself that I got these people here, but in your heart, in your mind, you know that half of them are not going to say yes, right? So you need to clear those out. If let's say a prospect says to you, yeah, I let me think about it. I'll let you know next week if we're going to go for it or not. Then those of you that have a boss, you tell your boss, hey, you know what? This guy's going to buy next week. You're lying to yourself. And it's not that they said I want to think about it and then you think it's a deal. You did not put in the effort to take that conversation a little bit further. And I will teach you how to do that in the prospecting and in the persuasion modules. All right. Then we got to think of this. The world is changing, or the world has changed, and it's going to continue to change. When all this first happened, I was talking to my son. My son is 19 years old now, and we were talking in right about March, okay. And I was supposed to go back to the U.S. in May, at the end of May last year. The last time that I was in the U.S. was in this September 2019, because I usually go back like every 4 months, every 6 months. Okay, my staff in San Diego, I still have about let's say I think 14 or 15 of them in San Diego. I haven't seen them. I haven't seen them in almost 2 years. Okay, but when all this first happened, right? I was talking with my son. I said, oh, we were saying, oh, this pandemic, this COVID, and what we were saying is like, you know what? There's smart people in our world today. They're going to find a vaccine. All this will be done by June or July last year. That's what we were saying, but it's not. And my my perspective and my perception on that has changed because it's always like I hope this, I hope this, I hope this, and for some of us that we've talked together, right? It's natural, it's very natural to say hope. I hope. And I'm not saying don't pray. You must pray if you pray to whatever your faith and religion. Okay, but we don't only rely on hope, right? We have to take the action so that we can predict, or we can predict with a measurable guarantee of success what the outcome will be. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Yeah. Okay. You cannot hope that you get a customer next week. You cannot hope that you get an income next month. You, to get an income next month, you must take action now and today. And we have to realize that it's not going to be the same. I spoke to she's a prospect now. She was with another company that was a client. We did a massive amount of business with them. So she joined a new company. Last month, she contacted me and said, hey, Chris, I want to do this and I want you to talk to my sales team. So we came up with a proposal. So here's how everything was geared towards. In fact, let me just unshare the screen real quick. Yeah, everything was geared towards success, right? She's an old client. We did massive business. She called me and said, okay, this is what we want. This is how much we're going to pay. So it was like almost guaranteed, right? Right? Okay. So we went through everything, and then I spoke to her yesterday. Okay, I spoke to her yesterday, and she says we're going to hold off. And I was like, what? Why would you hold off? Okay, because you came to me, you said what you want, you agreed on the price, your boss says it's a good idea. The reason we're holding off is because her sales team wants to hold off because they want to be trained in person. Okay, they want to be trained in person. So the earliest that we can possibly do that would, maybe the earliest would be September, right? Right? And even then, it's not guaranteed. And you know what the topic of the training is? How to sell on the phone, how to sell on online platform, how to have interactions on Zoom, Google Meet. And they want to be trained in person. Is that unbelievable? It is, right? So, we need to realize that the world has changed and is going to continue to change. And even if it comes back to what it was before, which I highly doubt, we're 3 months, 6 months, 1 year away from going back to where we were. So if we think of it that way, we need we need to adapt ourselves to the current situation. Does that make sense? Yes. Yeah. Okay. Let me come back to the. Uh, okay. So we're back to the screen. Yeah. Let me make sure the chat is up so I can see. Uh, George, are you saying that I'm BS, or I don't know when you said that? Okay. Okay. So hold on. Let me do this. Okay. All right. So let me ask you a question. Okay, we're gonna do this part, and then we'll take a quick break after this. All right, just so we can recharge ourselves. Okay. Um, let me ask you this question, and I want you to type in the chat, or you can unmute yourself and just shout out what motivates you. What motivates you?
Money.
Money. Okay. Anissa, money. Casey, money. Valerie, family.
Money.
Cecil, family. Okay. Money. Yeah. Okay. Freedom. Freedom to spend the money, right, George? What else do we have? Come on, guys. My big why. What is your big why, Dorothy? What is your big why?
To be like a financial freedom, I can do whatever I want in my own pace of time.
Okay.
I just want to be my own, I want to be my own boss rather than working for someone else.
All right. So let's discuss that very quickly. There's two that jump out. All right. Jahan, that's very nice. Money and power of spending. Correct. Okay. I want to let's discuss money. Uh, a lot of people think that I'm driven by money. All right. And Kwan, you were I think you were the first one to answer, and it was money. And I don't think you're money hungry. However, I think that you're the kind of personality that thrives on getting the reward, and how you define that reward and outcome is by closing a deal and how much money you get. Does that sound about right? Roughly?
Roughly, yes. It's
Right.
not the actual money, it's the freedom
Right.
and the power that comes with it.
Right. So a lot of people say I'm motivated by money. Actually, if you're motivated by money, if you're motivated by money, please don't do this. Yeah, please don't don't do this, and then you get caught and they say, "Oh, Chris, taught us to do this." Please, if you're motivated by money, you would be out robbing banks. Okay, we are motivated by what we can do with the money. Correct, Guan Yu? Right? Uh, there's people think that I'm money hungry. It's not that I'm money hungry. It's that it's a whole thought process behind it, and there's things that I want to do in a few years, and I've been working on it for the last 15 or 16 years. Okay, I want to ask you this question. Okay, your first answers were family, money. They're simple one word answers. But I'm going to show you this. I'm going to show you this. All right, freedom, the big why. Okay, family to spend money with. I'm going to show you something. Almost everybody that I asked this question say these things. All right. So these are the main motivators, isn't it? Isn't that what we all said? Am I a fortune teller that I can say, oh, you guys are going to say no because I've asked this question? Is normal? Is a normal human response? Money, family, security, all those things. Maybe we want to buy things. We want because freedom really means wealth, time, and peace, doesn't it? Right? And we need to know what we want. Okay, we need to know what motivates us. Okay, because when times are hard, when you don't want to pick up the phone, I'll share this later on today or tomorrow, George. Just remind me to share with you. Okay, would that be okay, George? So it's going to be your responsibility to remind. All right, and I'll go into detail on that part for all of us. Maybe I'll do it at the end of at the end of our session before we wrap up for today. Okay. We need to know what motivates us because to pick up that phone to call is like shit. I don't want to do that. Uh, oh, you know what? I gotta. Chris said I gotta practice every day. I'm tired today. I don't want to practice. What makes you continue to practice? Now, we talk about how I practice handling objection, practice my scripts, practice my closing statements. Do you think practicing is enjoyable? Yes or no? Yes. Do you think that practice is enjoyable? Shit, no. I'd rather be sleeping. I would rather be sleeping. Who, you know, right? There's many things that we don't want to do that we have to do, but we would rather be resting, sleeping, drinking, smoking, watching TV, movies. There's everything that we do in our work, right? Uh, we would rather be doing something else rather than the work, isn't it? I spoke to a client the other day. He said, "Oh yeah, we do this and we do this, and then we have to do these things." So I asked this question. I'm going to ask all of you this question now. Okay, if if next to you right now, if next to you right now you had $1 million or 5 million or 10 million or 20 million next to you, would you still be doing what you're doing? You don't need to answer out loud. But in that conversation that I had with that client, in the conversation that I had with the client, he said, "Shit, no, I'd be off surfing somewhere." All right. So here's very nice that you say that, Valerie. Very nice that you will say that. But you will keep doing what you're doing, but you would do it a little bit different, wouldn't you? Right? Okay. Here's the importance of why. If the money was there, okay, would you still be doing what you're doing? I will tell you right now, honestly, if I had that five or ten, I have money, but I don't have enough to last me the next 30 years. All right. If I had the money right now to last me the next 30 years, you and I would not be on this session right now. Honestly. Okay. But my personal preference aside, I will do what I'm supposed to do and I will do it to the best of my ability. If you're choosing to do whatever it is you're doing, do your freaking best. Don't half ass it. Don't, shortchange, procrastinate, be lazy, do a lousy job. If you're going to prospect on the phone, do the best that you can. If you're going to handle objections, do it the best that you can. And to be able to do it the best that you can, you have to you have to remain positive. To be positive is hard, isn't it? It's hard, right? It's like, I don't want to call. Oh, they reject me. They do this, they do that. My boss on my back. My family says, why can't you do this? We have to remain positive. And how we remain positive, we have to apply it to learning a skill. If you already learned the skill, you must practice it. You must practice it every day. If you practice it every day, you must take action every day. I'm going to teach you how to take action every day and effective, productive, and profitable action. Okay? Very nice, Valerie. Yes, I totally agree with you. All right. Now, we all practice, right? Let me ask you this question: does practice make perfect? How many people say yes? Practice makes perfect. Okay. So we do you have an answer for us? Does practice make perfect? Kiran, practice makes perfect. Yes. Kumar Raja, practice makes perfect. Okay. Uh, KC, yes, practice makes perfect. Okay, so pretty much everybody says practice makes perfect, right? Correct? Wrong. Wrong. You're right, Anissa, and you're right, George. If you practice wrong, you're going to perform wrong. If you practice something incorrectly, it's going to come out wrong. Okay? If you practice HA, anybody know what HA means? Anybody want to guess? Anybody want to
Half
guess what H? Half
half
what?
S, half S.
You know what? Um that's quite rude lah, Guan Yu. Okay, but you're right. You're right. If you practice half-ass, you will perform half-ass. If you practice your handling objections wrong, you're going to answer it wrong, isn't it? Right? You see, practicing wrong is action wrong. Perfect practice makes perfect. And that's what we need to strive for. Okay, and we all you see, when I tell you that you must learn new skills, you must practice, and then you must take action. eh, Outside you're going, yeah, I need to do that, right? But inside that little voice, I don't know if I can do it. Right. Okay. um uh I have a goal. I want to be financially free. You'll never do it. Okay, I want to lose weight. You'll always be fat. I want to talk to that girl. Not now, yeah, huh? Not now. I want to talk to that girl. You're ugly. She won't talk to you, right? We all have that little voice, We all have that little voice that holds us back from doing the things that we can do and we must do. For those of you that say, I don't have that little voice, I don't have that little voice, that's the voice I'm talking about. All right? You don't need to fear the change, you need to be the change. I'm going to share with you the formula to be more confident. Can we do that? Yes? Yes? Okay. All right. Let me just get this one here. Okay. It's a process. It's not like I wake up and then I feel like shit and then it's like, oh, I'm confident. It doesn't, I don't know if you can do that. Maybe some of you can, but I cannot. I cannot do that. All right. I cannot like wake up and then it's like, oh, what am I doing today? And then suddenly become confident. I cannot do that. Okay. But I'm going to teach you a technique or a strategy or a system that you can. And it can be done very quickly in a couple minutes, or it can take a couple days or weeks or months, depending on the level of the confidence in that particular skill that you want. All right. Confidence does not come from yeah, yeah, yeah. It doesn't come from that. Agree, right, Kieran? You might feel happy or confident for a couple seconds or a couple minutes, but it's gonna come back down, right, Kieran? Yeah. Okay. So I'm going to teach you how to be more confident, and it's a process. Okay. And this is what it looks like. Confidence comes from competence. That means when you're competent in a particular activity or a skill, all right, that's when you have confidence. How many of you remember, taking driving lessons? Like you drive, right? Yeah. and then you got your driver's license, and then maybe you're 18, maybe you're 19, 20, whatever your age is, and then you get behind the wheel. You get behind the wheel of the car for the first time since you get the license. You felt like Superman, right? It's like, yeah, I can be a drifter, racer. I got my license. That means I know how to drive. Okay, until boom, right? Or you scratch the car. We have this false confidence, okay, that we think that we can do something, just like how we thought that we could drive the car, like an expert or a racer, but we didn't have enough practice. Okay, what you need is you need to have to be confident. You need to have competence. Okay, and that's skills. For you to be competent, you must have the commitment every single day to take the daily action. All right. For you to have the commitment to take the daily action, you must have clarity in exactly what you want to accomplish and your purpose. For you to have clarity in your sense of purpose and what you want to achieve, is you have to make a decision now to do better. And how do you make that decision? All right. All you have to do, all you have to do is ask yourself one simple question. That one simple question is, am I happy with my current results? If you're not happy with your current results, then do what you see on the screen. If you're happy with your current results, leave this training right now. We don't need to talk. I'm not being mean, yeah? If you're happy with your current results, then you're not going to improve. You must be unhappy with your current results before you will leave your comfort zone, before you will learn new skills, before you decide to be a winner. You must be unhappy. If you're unhappy, then make a decision to learn and enhance skills. Tell yourself, I'm going to work on this and I'm going to win. Make your plan. Most people stop at this point, they make the plan, right? And then they forget or they don't feel like implementing it, right? You need to realize whatever your job is, whatever your role is, you are a sales professional and you are a marketer. It's your job, it's your responsibility to go out and market and to go out and sell. As sales professionals, these are the things that we must do, whether you're the business owner, you're the partner, you're the sales professional, you're the sales manager, uh, you know, as we're all sales professionals. Okay, as a sales professional, our responsibility, our job is to prospect and qualify, and not just whenever we feel like it. Okay, our job is to present and persuade effectively. Our job is to handle objections and to close deals and to follow up. Okay, I want you to think about this. All right, do not answer this out loud or in the chat. Just answer in your head. In the last 30 days, in the last 60 days, if you were talking to yourself, would you be impressed with yourself in your level of skill, in your level of emotion, your level of sales activity? Would you be impressed with yourself? In fact, let me go a step further. As a sales professional, do you dedicate yourself to doing your 100% level best every single day? Don't answer out loud, answer in your head. I'll give you an example. Let's say you need surgery. Let's say you need surgery, right? And you go to the doctor, the surgeon, and then do you want your surgeon that's going to operate on you before you go into the operating room? Man, I don't feel confident today. Do you want your surgeon saying that before you go in the operating room? It's and then, oh, you know what? I haven't practiced this procedure in like 2 months. It's like, what? Do you want to hear that? Okay. What I want you to do is I want you to approach your job, your profession, and your business with the highest level of care, concern, skills, and professionalism that you can possibly put in. You see, the danger that we have today is that being average is acceptable, right? Being average has become acceptable, all right? Anybody can tell me what mediocre is? Anybody can share what they think mediocrity is? So, we do you have any
Average,
idea?
average.
Mediocrity, okay. Mediocre means traditional. Average, okay. This is my definition, my personal definition of mediocrity. Mediocrity means doing less than your best. Okay, doing less than your best. That's being mediocre. Okay, Kwan Yu, I'll I'll fine tune it a little bit for you when you said just average. Okay, mediocrity is worse than average. However, mediocrity is starting to be accepted as normal. Okay, you see that in the government. All right, you see that with some of your competition. Maybe, I hope not, maybe you start to see that in yourself. If you start to see that in yourself, now is the time to change. How do you change? You think of the things that motivate you, your family, your security, your future, all right? And that's how you focus. Let me check something real quick here. Okay, it's let's see, what is the time? The time is 10:55. Is that right? Let me do this. It is 10:55. Shall we take a quick break? Yes? Okay. So I'm going to put some music on for us. By my clock, it's 10:56. We'll pick it up again in exactly 9 minutes at 11:05. That should give us enough time to get a drink, wash our face, whatever it is. Kieran, comb your hair. Just kidding, Kieran. Okay. So I'll put some music on, and we'll come back at exactly 11:05. All right. Okay, we'll see you in 8 9 minutes. Thank you. All right, welcome back. Let me check something here real quick and then we'll pick up exactly where we left off. Okay, so we're back from our break. Do we have any questions so far? Okay, you can ask questions at any time. We'll talk about that in before we end today's session as well. Okay, let's see here. So far, okay. Thank you, Dorothy. Uh, if we have questions, just type in the chat. I will monitor that as well. So let me get back to the slides here. Okay, so we were talking about the stop accepting less than your best. All right. So how do we do that? We need to answer a couple things. All right. And this phrase that I'm about to share with you, you probably heard it from me before. Maybe you've seen it somewhere else. All right. But this is what I'm about to share with you is exactly how I plan my activities, how I plan my days, and how I plan what I'm going to do, today, this week, this month, this year. So this is the foundation. All right. I'll read it out to you and then I'll explain what it means. Okay. Top professionals identify the activities that give them the greatest results and focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. So, what does that mean? What it means is if you want to have great results, phenomenal results, profitable results, it depends on the actions that you take with daily action, consistent action, doing it every single day, right? So, what does that mean? What it means is identify the activities that give you the greatest results and you focus on those activities with constant and consistent action. We're going to do an exercise in a while and we're going to talk about what are those actions that you need to take. All right. Let me open this here. Okay. All right. So we need to think of two things when we talk about actions. All right. The actions are this we need to have the long term mindset. And I'm not saying don't do the short term mindset. The short term mindset could be as short as within the next hour, or today, or this week, or this month. All right. Or it can be long term. It can be what are your goals for what do you where do you want to be in 10 years? Where do you want to be in 5 years? I'll illustrate it this way. So I'm 51. All right. And I realized that I needed to have a long-term destination because if we don't have a destination, we don't know how we're going to get there. We don't know if we're going to end up there. All right. If you have a destination, you can figure out the route that you're going to take. So if you don't have a destination, if you don't have an outcome or a goal, we don't know what are the actions that we need to take on a daily basis. So regardless of whether you have a short-term or long-term mindset, the short term is how we live today and the actions that we take today. So we need to take action every single day, right? That makes sense, yes? Okay. And we'll do an exercise in a while and we're going to determine what are those immediate actions that you're going to take constantly and consistently. All right. But I'll explain it when we get to that part. This is what we need to do. All right. I'm going to share my schedule with you, in a couple more slides. All right. I'm not going to go through each one of these. I'm not going to go through each one of these, but these are the things that I feel are important. You can add things to it, and you can take things out. What I would not take out is set your goals, plan and organize, high value activities, learn, practice, and action. Those are the things that I would not take out at all. The bare minimum is you have to do those things. All right. How many of you think that to be successful, we need to be smarter than the competition? Anybody? No, right? We don't need to be smarter than the competition. We don't need to be smarter than everyone else. I'm a perfect example of that. There's many things that I'm skilled in, but I'm not an extremely, I know this sounds bad, I'm not an extremely smart person. I just know how to outwork my competition. I know how to outperform my competition. And the reason I'm able to outwork and outperform my competition is because of discipline and consistency. Okay? Discipline and consistency will beat your competition almost every single time. And you have to back up the discipline and consistency with implementation and action in the right areas. All right. Discipline. Let me ask you this: how many of us here on this session right now think that you are uh, disciplined or not disciplined enough? If you think you're disciplined enough, type in the chat the letter D. Okay. If you think that you're not disciplined enough, type the letter N. Okay. I choked a bit when I see all the N's. What is C? What is C, Dorothy? C and N. What is the letter C? What is that? Dorothy, the C. I don't know what is C.
Sorry, wrongly typed. It's supposed to be D.
Okay, so you're disciplined and not disciplined.
Sometimes.
Okay. When I share my schedule with clients and students, yeah, they say that, oh, you're very disciplined. And actually I'm not disciplined. Okay? Even though I tell you that I do these things and I do it constantly and consistently, I can tell you discipline is extremely difficult. Okay? Let me unshare the screen real quick. I'll give you an example. Okay? Uh, how many of us, yeah? Okay, at the end of the year. Oh, interestingly, we're now in July, isn't it? We're the 6th of July. The 6th of July, we're 6 days into the second half of 2021. We have less than 6 months till the end of this year. All right. If you think that the first 6 months of the year was not up to your standard, you didn't earn enough, you didn't perform enough, you got less than 6 months left until the end of this year to change that. All right. And honestly, it doesn't mean anything. The last 6 months of 2021, so what? Because we live on a daily basis, right? Okay. Let's see, where was I? Okay, the discipline, right? When we talk about discipline, it's very hard to be disciplined. All right. Anybody ever said, I want to lose weight, or I want to be healthier? Like, we usually say that at the end of the year, and we call it a New Year resolution, right? Have anybody ever done that? Yes. Yeah. Right. Okay. So at the end of all the time. Okay. Every year. Right. So at the end of the year, and this is just an example, at the end of the year, we say, I want to be healthier, I want to lose weight. Interestingly enough, just to share a little bit, yeah, and we'll talk about the regimentation as it relates to business and personal, and I'll use myself as an example. I used to weigh 155 kg. I weighed 155 kg for 12, 13 years. Okay, and I was okay with that. I was okay with it. I didn't feel anything wrong. I didn't see anything wrong until one day I said, "Man, you look terrible," and it took 2 years to get to this point. I'm roughly at about 116 kg right now. It took me 2 years to get there. All right. But we say I want to lose weight, and then so we say, oh, you know what? I want to lose weight. I'm going to wake up at 5 a.m. I'm going to go for a 5 km run because that's 10,000 steps, right? I'm going to go for a 5 km run, and I'm going to come back and we're going to eat 5 eggs, healthy eggs for breakfast. Then I'm going to read the newspaper and get ready for the day, right? Have we ever done that or something like that, right? Sheila, have you ever done that? You look slim, by the way, so maybe you don't say that you need to lose weight. But we all say things like that, right? And then when the alarm clock rings at 5 a.m., ring, and I go, shit, it's 5 a.m. We have two choice, okay? We have two choices, all right? The two choice. You look good when you comb your hair, when you. So, where was I? We have two choices, all right? The two choices are at 5 a.m., you're in your bed, in your covers, whatever it is, right? And then do you get up and go do what you said you're going to do, or do you go back to sleep? Those are the two choices we have. You see, everything that we do, we have the two choices: get up, go back to sleep, pick up the phone and call, don't call, practice, don't practice. We have two choices in everything that we do. All right. And if we leave it to ourselves to make the choice, that means we're using our feelings and emotion to make that decision. Because I know I'm supposed to pick up the phone and cold call now. I don't feel like it, right? Have we ever said that? I don't feel like, putting in 100% today. We've all said that. I say it to myself sometimes. So discipline is extremely hard. So I'm going to share with you how we can overcome that. Would that be okay? Yes? Yeah? Okay. It's not easy, You say yes, you want it. I'm going to share it with you and I'm going to encourage you to do it. But whether you do it or not, am I going to chase you every day? You got to chase yourself. All right. So I'm going to share with you. It's a very simple technique. All right. That I do on a daily basis. This is how we do it. Okay. We take the discipline and we take consistency, we add it together, and it becomes regimentation. Here's what. Very nice, Kieran. You heard me compliment Kwan Yu, and you know what? We have that on video, Kieran. Okay. So we take the discipline and the consistency, and we make it into regimentation. I'm just kidding, Kieran. You can carry on. Okay. We make it into regimentation. Regimentation means whether you feel like it or you don't feel like it, you still do it. And this is how regimentation works. I'm going to share with you my personal schedule, 6 days a week, and what I do on Sunday. Some of you that I may have said this before, I work 7 days a week. I literally work 7 days a week because there's nothing else to do. Now I do take a break on Sundays. Okay, Sundays I usually wake up about 9 or 9:30. All right, and I do go a little slower on Sunday. But this is my daily schedule from Monday to Saturday, and it's roughly the same every single day. Between 6:45 and 7 a.m. I wake up. Okay. Before I take a shower, brush my teeth, whatever it is, I have a rowing machine. Rowing. I do 200 reps. All right. Then I take a shower. I have my coffee. I have my coffee. I do my practice. I check my email. Okay, and all that, and I work until 12:30. All right, and whatever is at work, I schedule it the night before, and I have it in my calendar. For example, 9 a.m. to 10:30 a.m. Make the cold calls. From 10:30 a.m. to this, do this activity, do this activity. It's written down every single day, and when my alarm goes at 9 a.m., I have the pop up. Oh, 9 a.m. Cold calling. Damn, I hate cold calling, but I follow the schedule. 9 a.m. to 10:30, I pull up my leads. I put on my, and I'll show you this later. I put on my headset. All right. Oh, by the way, if you're cold calling, use a headset or use earphones. All right. The reason you need to do that is because you need to keep your hands free. It seems like you guys cannot see me. Yeah. Let me check that real quick. Uh,
I can see you.
oh, you can see me. I
Yeah.
for some reason I cannot see myself. Okay, that's fine. We'll fix that in a bit. But y'all can see me, right? You can see me and you can see the screen. Yes?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
It was just weird because I saw like on my video was just a black square. Okay. Let's see.
Too hot
Okay.
for the
Oh, here.
camera.
I, you know what? That's very nice of you to say that. But oh, you meant the camera's too hot, not I'm too hot. Okay. No worries. Okay. Let's see. Where was I? Okay. So I eat oatmeal or bananas for lunch, and what that means is I only take 15 minutes for lunch. Okay, and then I work, and then I stop at 5:15, and then I do my exercise. I work out from 5:15 to about 6:15, and then I prepare dinner. Very simple. And then I have my dinner, and then I have personal calls that I make until 7:45, and then I work until about 11 or 11:30 p.m. And then I take a break. I get ready for bed, and then I do that every single day. Am I asking you to follow that schedule? No. What I'm telling you is that that is my schedule. All right. And, you know, people that I share this schedule with, they go, man, that's crazy. I agree. All right. But what drives me is the outcome that I'm looking for at the, my long term goal. Does that make sense? In fact, let me hold on. Yeah, let me do this. I think we're on the wrong slide there. Let's see. Okay. Sorry about that, ladies and gentlemen. Okay. I can see myself now. I don't know what that was. All right. So when we talk about regimentation, is you create your schedule and you tell you put in your calendar or your list from 9 a.m. to 10, example, do this. From 10 a.m. To 11, for example, do this. And then when the time comes, even though you don't feel like it, you just do it. All right. Um, what you need to do is make a schedule, because if you don't schedule it, it doesn't get done, right? Does that make sense? But it's not easy to start. Uh yeah, George, you said oatmeal every day, and I don't have to like it. I just have to do it. Okay. For some of us, now I didn't start this schedule this month or last month. I've evolved it over the last 4 or 5 years. Okay. Especially last year and this year, I've evolved it. All right. And I need to do the activities that I need to do in order to guarantee the results that I get. All right. And I want you to think of this. I'm not asking you to wake up at 5 a.m. tomorrow and then work until midnight, starting tomorrow. What we want to do is we want to make small changes in our daily action, and that gives us massive results. Okay. I'll give you a quick example here. All right. if let's say, if let's say right now you do not cold call, or you cold call inconsistently, all right, or you do your marketing inconsistently. All right. What you need to do is you need to change something. Okay. If you're doing your cold calls inconsistently right now, what you do, the first change is that you say, every day I will make 45 minutes, 1 hour, 5 hours, whatever it is. Okay. Make that change and then implement it, and you're going to get results. You see, if and forget about the mechanics first. Forget about how it's going to be done or how well it's going to be done. If you made a decision right now and you said, I'm going to cold call every day, example, yeah, I'm going to cold call every day, you cannot help but get results. Would you all kind of agree with that? Okay. If you told yourself, I'm going to post on Facebook every day, some of us post on Facebook once a week, or business wise, yeah. Some of us post on Facebook once a week, twice a week, and then you forget. What if you made a small change and said, I'm going to post every day, and then you actually did it? Forget about the mechanics and what you put in it. But if you take consistent action in posting on Facebook on your product and service, and there's a way to do it, would that give you results? If you started to use a lead list, okay, so that you don't have to remember who you talk to. I'm going to share my lead tracking with you, possibly tomorrow. I think tomorrow. Okay, if if let's say you were to track your leads so that you know where every prospect is in your pipeline, would that make a difference in your results? Of course it would. Okay, you see, we know these things, we just don't do it because we don't think about it, right? When you do these things, okay, especially now, especially this year, what you are feeling about, I'm feeling down. I'm talking in general terms. You're feeling a little bit down. You're feeling like, oh, maybe I cannot call. Maybe I cannot do this. And then maybe we feel like a little bit unmotivated. Some of us feel that way, yes? No need to answer. I know that we do. If you're feeling this way, do you think your competition is feeling the same way? This one you can answer yes or no, because we're all human beings, right? Your competition, yeah, Valerie, I don't know what you're saying no to. Your competition is feeling the way that you're feeling, because we're all human beings, right? If you're feeling a little bit down, if you're feeling that uh, it's hard to talk to prospects, no problem, Valerie. It's hard to talk to prospects. My management is on my ass. Your competition is facing the same thing. So what do you have to do? What you have to do is you have to outperform your competition. And you don't when you outperform your competition, you don't have to be double them or triple them or do all these things. You just need to be a little bit better than them. Does that make sense? Just have to be a little bit better than them. Have you all ever seen like horse racing? Like whether live or on TV or in a movie, horse racing. Anyone ever seen horse racing? Right? In a horse race, all the horses. Yeah, of course you did. Guan Yu, did you win or did you lose? Don't answer. Okay, so at the for horse racing, right? They start all at the gate, correct? And then bam, and then they start running, right? Why do they have a camera at the finish line? Anybody know? Anybody know why they have a camera at the finish line of a horse race? Because they need to, right, Kieran, to verify the real winner. Because more often than not, it's called a photo finish. We cannot, from the human eye, we cannot see who won, correct? Right? In horse racing, the owners of the horses, yeah, they win money when the horses win, right? The prize money for first place is a lot. Second place is like that. Third place is like even less. That's right. They win. They call it by winning by a nose, Casey. Right. That's why we call it a photo finish. So we can take the picture and we see whose nose cross over the line first. Am I asking you to go gamble? No, I'm not. So what is the point of this? The point of this is the winner of the race won by how much? They won by a nose, and the prize money was massive. We don't need to be twice as good as our competition. We don't need to, perform so much better than the competition. We just need to perform a little bit more. Does that make sense? Okay. Let me check this first. Okay, we're gonna do a mindset exercise. All right. Let me unshare my screen. This is how we're gonna do it. All right. Oh, and I want to bring this up. Yeah. I want to bring this up. We're together for 3.5 days, right? And we spent almost, yeah, all of the first day, the first half day on mindset, discipline, and things like that. The reason that I cover mindset roughly about a third of the whole time is because our mindset is so important. Our mindset, ladies and gentlemen, is so important. Because if our mindset is not right, I'll teach you all the sales techniques, all the sales systems, all the sales tricks. If your mindset is not right, you're not going to pick it up and use it. Okay? This is what we're going to do now. We're going to do a mindset exercise. What you are going to do is we're going to take 2 minutes. Okay? Let me put a timer up. All right? I'll put the timer up when it's ready. Okay? Um, we're gonna take 2 minutes. You're going to work on your own, and you're going to write down what it is you want to accomplish. Remember, I asked you what motivates you earlier. I asked you that. I want you to write down what motivates you, and then I want you to write down why does that motivate you. And I want you to be extremely clear and truthful and honest with yourself. It doesn't matter what the reason is, as long as that reason is important to you. Okay, we're going to take 2 minutes to do that. What we're going to do after that, I'm not going to ask you to share it with everyone, so you can write it as honest as you can with yourself. Okay, does that make sense? Actually, we'll make it 3 minutes. Okay, and let's see, 11:32. You know what? I'll do the countdown. I'll give a notification every minute. So we'll take 3 minutes. I would like you to write it down. You're not going to share it, with everybody. So write down exactly what exactly what you want. Jahan, I'll repeat it. Write down what motivates you, what wakes you up in the morning, what makes you do the things that you do in your work, and explain why that motivates you. Was that clear now, Jahan? Are we clear? Any questions, ladies and gentlemen? Cassie, we're clear? Cassie, we're clear? Okay. So, okay, awesome. It's now 11:33. It's 11:33. 3 minutes. 3 minutes to do this exercise, and you're not going to share it with everybody. So write it as truthfully, as honestly, as directly as you can. Let's start now. Thank you. We have 2 minutes left.
We have about a minute left. Victor, you're typing on your laptop, is it? Awesome. Because we can see what you're typing. No, I'm just kidding. It looks like some of us are still writing a little bit. We'll give it just about a minute more. You good, Kieran? Okay. Are we done? If you're done, look up so I know you're done. And I know I said we're not going to share it with everybody. This is my belief. All right. We can write down what we write, and it's for ourselves. Correct? There's a concept called accountability, and what that means is you can write down what you write, and you can read it, and then you can think about it, and that's perfectly fine. For us to take it to the next step, we need to add in a component of accountability. And what that means is that we need to speak it out and we need to tell it to somebody. Not going to tell everybody. What I'm going to do is I'm going to break us up into, we call it breakout rooms. So you might have 3 people in the room that I'll put us in. I think one room may have 4, all right? And what you're going to do in the room is you're going to read out what you wrote, what motivates you, why it motivates you, and then we're going to add another component. The other component is what are you going to do from today, from now? What are the actions that you're going to take to be able to achieve the outcome, and what drives you on the motivation? Does that make sense? Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Yes? Just wave your hand if it makes sense. Okay? You're going to take roughly about 2 minutes to 3 minutes for each person to share in your little rooms. And so we'll do this for about 10 to 12 minutes. I'm going to break us all up into rooms right now, and I will do my best to visit all of the rooms in the next 10 to 12 minutes. Can we do that? Yes? Yes? I know it's a difficult exercise, isn't it? All right? Okay, so let me get that set up. And let's see, 21. Let's go 7. Okay, we should have 2 to 3 people in each room. And so I'm going to get that set up now. And it'll take probably about 30 seconds for you to go into those rooms. I will visit those rooms individually, and I'll listen in. And at the end of 12 minutes, I'm going to stop the breakout rooms, and then we're going to come back into our session here. And then we're going to get feedback from everybody, all right? Okay. Let's see. I just want to make sure. Okay. Oh, I'm glad you're back, Celine. I hope your internet's okay there.
Yeah,
Okay.
sorry.
No problem. I understand. Okay. So you've been invited to join the room. Just click OK and then go into the room. Do you have your room, Cassie? Alice?
Yeti, are you okay? Cannot hear you. Let me. I cannot hear you. I'll put you in a room. All right. Hold on. I cannot hear you.
Hold on. Chris, actually
Ah.
I got dizzy. That's why I'm off
Oh.
the
Okay. Okay.
video.
Okay. Okay. Just sit back and relax. Get some
Yes.
water. Just sit back and relax. All right.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. We'll come back. Everybody will come back in a few minutes. Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Just relax. Okay. We'll wait for the others to join us. It'll probably take another 10 seconds or so. Okay. And everybody should be back now. Okay, let's do this. Um, okay, so let me ask everybody. That okay, besides the coffee shop talk and the keto diet and things like that, right? Was it a useful session? Yes, Valerie. Thank you for volunteering. Would you share with us why it was useful to you?
Yes. Hi, I'm Valerie again. I had a group session with Jahan and Hadrian, and yes, I learned a lot. I learned that I think too for I learned a thing from them, especially the issue of the motivation, because
Mm,
basically we have one common denominator, which is money. What
yeah.
motivates us is money. So,
Right.
and then if you're it's like a tree. So money is the tree, and then it has branches. So those branches, those are the reasons, those are the answers of our whys. So for
Right.
me, it's a family. I want to put food on the table. I want my family to have a comfortable life. I want my
Mm,
family to have to enjoy food, to eat food,
mm,
to eat healthy foods, etc. So basically it's like that, and we have different kinds of motivation, but it only boils down into one: money
right.
motivates us to provide all the things that we need for our different reasons. And
Let's
also
give
we talk
Valerie a
about
hand.
COVID.
Yeah. Right. Let's give
Duterte.
Valerie a hand. Thank you, Valerie.
Thank
You
you.
know, I think everybody kind of agrees with Valerie. Yes, right. And the interesting thing is, when Kwan Yu said money, and then we had a exchange about money and what we can do with it, right? The sad reality, the sad reality is, um, we all need money, okay? And there's this phrase that, hey, you know what, money isn't everything, right? There's this phrase you all heard of, money isn't everything, right? But I add something to it, money isn't everything, but damn, everything needs money, right? We cannot go to the grocery store or pay our electric bill, or put gas or petrol in the car. We cannot tell Shell or Petron or Tesco and say, you know what, um, I did good in work today. I didn't earn any money, but man, I feel I got satisfaction out of it. They will tell you, please get out, right? The sad reality is that money isn't everything, but everything needs money. And if we think about it, I'm not saying all, okay? If we think about it, almost all of our problems, we all have problems, isn't it? Yes or no? I mean, we all have problems right now, today, right? Hopefully not serious, yeah. But 80 to 90% of the problems that we have can be solved with money, right? And so what that tells us is, instead of not learning, not practicing properly, and not taking action, we should be doing all these things so that we can go out and we can get money. And that's what we should be doing. Uh, let's see. I promised two stories, right? Is that right? George, were you supposed? What was the story that I was supposed to share? Do you recall?
What motivates you?
Oh, what motivates me? Okay, I'll
And
come to that in a bit.
who's your
Um,
guru?
oh, okay. I'll answer that one first. Um, one of the, one of the things that I have to be clear on is that a lot of the things that I do and I teach, it's not 100% original. That means I didn't, like, probably 80 to 90%, maybe 5 to 10% of the things that I teach I created. Okay, 80 to 90% of the things that I teach or I do, I learn from somebody else, or I learn from other people. And what I've been able to do with that is I've been able to take that and apply it into the real world of business and selling. Okay, and it's not like, oh, I think this works. Oh, this sounds good. Maybe it sounds good to teach. What I can promise you, this is from me. Yeah. What I can promise you, everything that I teach is what I do. There's nothing that I teach that I do not do myself. Okay. For those of you that have interactions with me, you gave me objections, I handled it. You said things to me, I sold you in a proper process. Let's see. Celine is not here. Celine is like doing that thing with the hotel, right, George? Okay. So, um, the thing that I promise you is that whatever I teach and I share with you is what I do, and I can fine tune it to assist you and customize it for you. Does that make sense? Okay. So the when I first started in sales, when I was almost 25, it was like 1994. My first sales job. I shared with y'all that I did poorly in the first couple months. I was the worst performer in those 2 months. All right. And what I did was I learned. I learned from the co-workers that were doing well. Of course, they don't want to teach, so I had to go outside and learn. And I was an employee. Okay, so I was getting a salary and I was getting a commission. And at the age of 24 plus, almost 25, I realized that for me to excel, I needed to invest in myself. Okay, and that's the things that's one of the things that we all have to do. One of the dangers of and I'm not talking about anybody specifically. One of the dangers of not the ones in business and entrepreneurs in business for yourself, even though we still have some dangers in that as well. But the sales professionals that are part of a company, and I think a lot of us here are like that, right? One of the dangers of being a sales professional as part of a company is we have the buffer of at least some salary and commission that we work on. And I want to first of all, I want to congratulate everybody for being here on this session. All right. Uh, but what I want to say is that we must invest in ourselves, not necessarily only in money, but definitely in time and learning. All right. So when I was starting out in selling, the main thing I realized is that I needed to know how to sell. I didn't back then. I didn't go, oh, I need skills. I just said, you know what? If I don't sell, I'm not going to eat. All right. And so for me to be able to sell, somebody has to teach me how to sell. And so I went to learn. And then, they taught me how to do it, and I did it for 3 years. I learned it once, and I implemented it. And at the age of 25, in 1995, I earned 97,000 US dollars. At the age of 25 in 1995. 1996, it went up to 109. 1997, it went up to 117,000 US dollars in 1995. Okay, and I never earned that kind of money in my life before that point. And then I worked for a magazine. I started earning even more, and then I started my company. And when I started my company, I taught these skills. Yes, selling cars, a hundred thousand, George, US dollars a year. Okay. Um, Unfortunately, I spent too much. At 25, having 100,000, earning about 9,000, 10,000 a month, yeah, spend too much. Okay. So, and that's why I went to the magazine, because I needed to earn more because I was spending more. But that's neither here nor there, because then we go into savings and investment, and I'm not qualified to teach that. But Jinexu is, right. Okay. So my I learn by reading uh, and picking out the things that I test, I learned by attending workshops. Back then, we had these things called audio tapes or CDs, and I would listen to them in my car when I was driving. And one of the terms that we used was, when we drive, we would call it a university on wheels. So, and nowadays we don't drive as much, right? But when you exercise, you work out, you're cooking, you can put on something to listen to something. Okay. For example, the recording of this, you could play it on your phone, put it on like earphones or Bluetooth when you're cleaning or when you're cooking or whatever. You can listen to it over and over again. I've read sales books over and over and over again. I don't stop just once. All right. Um, and if you like, what I'll do is I will share the books that I've read over the last 25 years. I'll share those books with y'all. What I'll do is when I send this recording to you, I'll send it to you by email. I'll send it to you by email, and I'll put in a list of the books that were very helpful to me. Okay. Not only will I do that, I will even I'll even give you the books in a PDF format. How does that sound? That way you don't have to go and find the books. So whatever book I put in the email, I will give you the PDF as well. Okay? All right. Now, let's see. So did I answer that question, George? Okay. And at the age of 29, after first year that I started my company, right? My daughter was born the year before. My mother had a stroke the same year. My mother was staying with me. So my ex-wife and I, we looked after her for until she passed on at age of 84. So there were a lot of things that I had to do. Okay, I had to earn money for my family. I had to take care of a new baby. My daughter is now 23 years old. All right. Um, I had to take care of my mom. I had the responsibilities of a new house, a new baby, and things like that. So I had to earn. So I realized that looking at my activities in the company, looking at activities of my sales team, I realized that we had to get better. So the basis of that is, am I happy with my current results? You need to ask yourself that question. Because if I had said I'm happy with my current results back in 1998, 1999, I would not have improved. Does that make sense? So you must be, I'm not saying complaining. I'm saying unhappy with the current situation and then decide what you're going to do in order to elevate yourself. Okay. So I hired my first coach. Very, very expensive. It was to the point that it was painful. Back in 1999, I was paying this gentleman, if I recall, about 4,000 USD a month, and he was my coach for 2.5 years. Okay, if some of you have heard of NLP, you know that Bandler and Grinder were the two research scientists that kind of invented NLP. This gentleman, his name is Dr. Donald Moyne. He was their teacher's assistant at University of Berkeley. So he was my coach for 2.5 years, paying him about 4,000 USD for 2.5 years. Okay, you're right. You're right, Jahan. Okay, we've all experienced that, the highs and the lows. All right. So when he was teaching me, it was specific skills and strategies on how to speak, on what to say, on how to behave, how to respond, all in sales situations. Okay, so that was one of my teachers. Okay, not a famous person at all, and I'm not famous at all, and I like it that way. Until we met, none of you have ever heard of me because I'm very boutique. I'm very selective in my clientele. All right, and that's the way that I do it. All right. Did that kind of answer your question, George? Okay. Now we'll go a little bit into prospecting, but it's about 12:15 right now. I don't want to go too much into prospecting, okay? Because we have the next two and a half days. Sorry, not 2.5 days. the next 2 half days, tomorrow and Thursday. So, you know, when we talk about prospecting, and we'll get into it into the actual techniques and strategies tomorrow. All right. Was it Zoe that we talked a little bit about prospecting, or was it Cassie? I don't quite remember. Zoe, was it us that was saying that, or somebody, somebody we were talking about prospecting now, so that when the restrictions kind of ease down, right? So this is how it works. We can say that, oh, nobody's going to buy today. That may be true. That may be true, but I don't believe that it is. Okay, unless your hotel or sorry Yan, unless your hotel or in travel tour. Okay, however, there are travel agencies, tour professionals that went into virtual. So even then, you cannot say that it's 100% no, unless you own a bar or a nightclub, and then that one is like no, right? That one no choice. But still people find a way. But that's neither here nor there. Um, where was I? Okay. So one of the things that I learned, because uh, at my age I went through several crises. Uh, the first crisis I went to, and I'm not talking about personal crisis because we all have that, right? The first crisis I went to was 9/11. 9/11, the twin towers. Businesses shut down, everything stopped. But that was kind of limited to just the U.S. and allies and whatever. But it was kind of limited to the U.S. But it was extremely devastating because nobody wanted to spend anything. Nobody wanted to buy anything. But we still, as a company, and most of our clients, we still thrived because one of the things that I learned is that buyers will always be buying and sellers will always be selling. No matter what your product, no matter what your service is, no matter what industry you're in, there will always be people buying or looking for your product and service. Okay? Whatever your product or service is right now, you have a competitor that is earning. Why not you be the competitor? Okay? And if you cannot really sell right now, what you should be doing is you should be preparing your prospects, building relationship so that when the restrictions come down, you can start running right out of the gate rather than, okay, restrictions are down, I'm going to start prospecting now. You're going to be behind the curve because your competition is already getting prospects now in preparation for selling them when the time is right. That's why you still have to do the things that you're supposed to do every single day. Okay? So, when you talk about prospecting, if you're doing it now, the intention, okay, always the intention is try to sell, right? But you cannot sell from the very, very beginning. You must sell without selling from the very beginning, but they cannot feel like they're selling you. All right. If let's say, if let's say we never met today, I'm not selling anything on these trainings, yeah. Um, but I'll clarify that in a minute. Okay. If let's say we never met on this session, and let's say Nadrul, let's say I came to you and say, hey, you know what? I got this workshop. All you did, I called you, Nadrul. All you did was say hello on the phone, right? And I said, hey, Nadrul, this is Chris. We're doing a workshop. Is this much? It's on July 6th, 7th, and 8th. Can you attend? What would you say to me?
I will look into my schedule first.
No, you won't say that. You wouldn't say that. You would say, who the hell is this? Because I'm trying to sell you without any context, without finding out your needs, without establishing any credibility. So think about this. Do you pitch right away? Most of us do. Most of us will say something like this. Hi, this is Chris. George, I just used your name, but you don't need to answer, okay? Hi, this is Chris. Am I speaking to George? Yes, you are. Okay. You know what? I'm from XYZ company, and this is my product and my service. Can we make an appointment? That's what most of us do, right? Or maybe I'm giving you an extreme example, but and I'm shortening it and condensing it, but in essence, that's what most of us do. We cannot pitch right away. You see, if I try to sell you immediately, if I try to sell you immediately, would you like that? Does anybody like to be sold immediately? Yes or no? No, right? If you don't like to be sold immediately, why the heck do you do that? You need to dance a little bit. You need to nurture and qualify and find out their need, make sure they have a problem, but you cannot do that without building rapport. And I will teach you how to build rapport. I'll teach you the questions that you need to ask to be able to develop that rapport. Okay? Selling, I want you to think of it this way. Who's heard of James Bond? James Bond 007? Earlier, I talked about calm, cool, and collected. Calm, cool, and collected. Does that describe James Bond 007? Would you like James Bond if he was like, oh, killer's coming. Oh, no. He doesn't do that. But we do that in a selling situation. I want you to think of yourself as the James Bond 007 of selling. I want you to be calm, cool, and collected. Do you think that James Bond shows up and fights with the bad guys without knowing any skills, without practicing? No, right? We need to be the James Bond of selling, where we need to have the skills, where we need to practice, and so that we can overcome any situation. Yeah, George, not Austin Powers, but he usually wins most of the time, right? Okay. Um, so everything is step by step and sequential. I call it a process, a sales process. If you just call and say and talk to someone with no outcome, with no script, with no prepared questions, you're going to fail at worst. At best, you'll be inconsistent. And the reason I know that most of us are inconsistent is because this month we sell a lot and then we're happy, and then next month our results go down. And that is, a symptom of being inconsistent. All right. One of the things that I will tell you, uh, anybody close to my age, okay, anybody close to my age will remember that there was no Facebook, there was no LinkedIn, there was no, those platforms that you can find someone's email or phone number. Okay, we didn't have all these things before. Okay, for the younger ones, you think, huh? No Facebook, right? Then how do people interact? It's called talking to each other in person. Okay, but that's neither here nor there. Okay, so before we had all these things, as sales professionals, it was not easy to get in touch with people. It was hard to track people down. It was hard to find a phone number. Okay, today, today, it's never been easier to find a phone number, to find an email, to find somebody's LinkedIn. It's never been easier. For some of us that use LinkedIn, I'm sure, I'm very, very sure you get messages like, hey, Chris, my name is John. I'm a company in this, and this, and we provide this service one, this service two, three, four, five. We provide this service. Let's get together and network, and let's have a conversation. It's like, dude, you're trying to you're trying to sell me, and you're not telling me anything. You in your message, it was more about you than it was of me, isn't it? Do we like that? No, we don't. We need to stop doing that. So if we were to stop doing that, all right. Oh, there's another kind of message that I really dislike. I'm sure some of you get it, right? You get a message that says something like, "Hey, Chris, you know what? This is what we do. We're looking for partners and collaborators, and I want to see if there's a way we can work together." So when you open a message like that, it's like, oh, they're looking for a JV. They're looking to see whether we can, like, kind of work together. Is that really what they're trying to do? Anybody? No, because initially, yeah, before when I answer, they go, yeah, you know what? You basically what they're saying is that you would buy our service or buy our product or service, and they call it working together. Don't use cliches like that. Okay. Okay. So, and one of the things about prospecting is that I will give you a structure on how to prospect and how to follow up over the next 2.5 days. Okay. And some of you do not follow up. Some of you do not follow up enough. Some of you do not follow up consistently. Okay? Some of you are scared to follow up because you don't know what to say. You don't know what to say. You don't know when to follow up. Okay? I will teach you those things in the next 2.5 days. Okay? But I'll leave you with this on that topic. All right? Don't just message more, because more of the same equals crap. All right. What you have to do is you have to message more, but your message has to matter. And this is where the persuasion and the follow up comes in. And we'll go into those specific techniques over the next 2.5 days. Okay. Um, do I owe y'all any stories, or do I owe y'all any answers to any questions? I think I covered everything right today so far. Okay, let's do this. Let's do this. Do we have any comments? Oh, Dr. Kettle Hut, Nadrul. Okay, thank you, Nadrul. This is prospecting. Okay, this is. I'll share this story about Dr. Kettle Hut, and this is actually a story about prospecting and qualifying. Okay, the story I'm about to share. Please do not be offended. Okay, I'm not going to use cuss words or bad words. Okay, but please do not be offended. It is what it is. All right. Dr. Kettle Hut was my second coach. Okay. Dr. Kettle Hut, for a period of 1.5 years, he got me centered, and he got me to really establish what was my why, what was my motivation, and what was the outcome that I needed. I met Dr. Kettle Hut when I was about 33 years old. Okay. He was actually the coach of another person that I was trying to hire to coach me. And so we had that initial session, and that person's name is Serrano Kelly. And Serrano Kelly said that I cannot coach you. I'm going to introduce me. He said, I'll introduce you to my coach, which was Dr. Kettle Hut. Okay. So I had a coaching relationship with Dr. Kettle Hut for 1.5 years. After 1.5 years, I actually hired Dr. Kettle Hut into my company as the head of my coaching department. So he stayed with me, I think like 7, 9 years, something like that, and we're still in touch. Okay, Dr. Kettle Hut is gay. All right, it's Martin Kettle Hut. So he's a guy, but he's gay, right? So we have meetings in our company where weekly meetings where we talk about our individual goals and what we want to do. And then Dr. Kettle Hut said one day during the meetings, I don't know why he said it. He goes, I wish I can find a partner. Okay, I wish I can find a partner. So, and then I said, oh, Doc, you know what? I want to try and help you do that. And then he said, yeah, but before you try and do that, you have to know that I'm gay. That's what he said, right? And I said, I think we knew that. I knew that when I first met you, all right? And then so he listed out his criteria of who he wanted to find as a partner. I won't mention what that criteria is. Now, we're going to talk about prospecting tomorrow. We're going to talk about your target demographic. So he told me who he was looking for. Okay, when you prospect, when you develop your perfect client, you need to know who you are looking for. Okay, so uh, the bank that I use, the bank that I use, the bank manager of my branch, his name is Daniel. Okay, so I go to the bank, once or twice a week, and then I'm a little bit friendly with Daniel. And then I thought, you know what? I'm going to introduce Daniel to Dr. Kettlehut, and I call him Doc. Okay, so I'm going to introduce Daniel to Dr. Kettlehut, right? And I was like excited, but I was also nervous because I was trying to, hook them up, right? Okay, so I went to the bank on my normal schedule. I was lining up, and then Daniel also is takes over some of the teller positions sometimes. So I tried to arrange it so I got his window, right, and I managed to get his window, and then we chit chat for a while, and then I finished my banking business. Then I told Daniel, I said, hey, you know what, Daniel, I know somebody that I think you would be perfect for. I think the two of you would like really hit it off. And then Daniel goes, yeah, he was excited, all right. And then I said, so I described Doc, and I said, these things, and then I said, I said, do you want me to like, kind of connect you? And then he goes, yeah, I'd love to. And then I said, okay, his name is Martin. Okay, because Martin Kettlehut, right? I said his name is Martin. Do you know what Daniel said? Anybody want to guess what Daniel said?
I hope you didn't say, oh, that bitch.
No, no.
Just
This
kidding.
is what Daniel said to me. He looked at me, and he looked at me with shock on his face, and he said, "Did you say Martin?" And I said, "Yeah." And then he said, "That's a guy." And I said, "Yeah." And then Daniel said to me, "I'm not gay." That's what he said to me. The problem is, I had my assumption that Daniel was gay. All right. And this story tells you that I was hitting the wrong target. I didn't know what my target was to introduce to Doc. All right. I'm not asking you to go and be a matchmaker for gay or straight or whatever. I'm not asking you to do that. Now, needless to say, that was the last time I ever set anybody up because I never did it again. That was also the last time that I ever went into the bank, into that particular bank, because I never wanted to see Daniel again. I was too embarrassed. All right. But you know what? We do this all the time. We do this all the time with our prospects. We think that they're a client. We think that we can solve their problem, all right? But it blows up in our face when they tell us, you know, wouldn't you rather find out that they're not a prospect on the first call? They're not qualified. They're not looking for your product or service. They don't have a problem. Wouldn't you rather want to find that out as early as possible in the sales process and then maybe keep in touch with them over time because it may change or they may go to a different company or their needs change? Okay. Or would you rather not find out that they're a prospect for you right in the very beginning and then spend time and effort in preparing a proposal, preparing a presentation, following up with them? Keep on doing those things because you think they're a prospect that can be a client, and then after you spend 1 month, 2 months, 3 months with them, they tell you, actually, you know what? We already have a supplier. Actually, you know what? We have no plans of doing this until 3 years from now. What you did was you wasted your time. So we must get our demographic and our target audience exactly right as early as possible. Does that make sense, ladies and gentlemen? Okay, I've covered what I needed to cover today. As I mentioned, we're together for 3.5 days. 1/3 of it we're complete, and we spent and invested in ourselves 1/3 on talking about mindset. And the reason we do that is because if we don't get these things correct, the next 2.5 days, yes, you will learn the skills, but we need you to take the skills and implement it and practice it and take action every single day. All right. Uh, like I said, I'm done with whatever I needed to share today. You guys have been awesome today. Out of all the people I talked to today, you guys are the best. So give yourselves a hand. Okay. Do me a favor. Um, I'll take questions or comments. We can have a discussion. Our session is supposed to end at 1 p.m. All right. Uh, we can have discussion on any topic on sales right now. We can have a discussion on any topic or any subject that we talked about so far. Well, you can type your question in the chat, or you can raise your hand, unmute yourself, and ask your question, or make a comment. While you're thinking of that, can we take a group picture together? Yes? Okay. If we can, if possible, can you please put your video on so I can take a picture for all of us? And I'll share this with everybody together with the recording after a couple of days. All right? Anissa, I know you said your camera had a problem. Alice, Cassie, Kumar, I think doesn't have the video on. That's fine. Alice and Cassie, awesome. Okay, on the count of three. You know what? You're a handsome young man, Kumar Raja. Okay, your face matches your wonderful voice exactly. Okay, on the count of three, Cecil, if you can put your video on, go ahead. If not, that's fine. On the count of three, everybody looks serious right now, as serious as Kuan Yu. On the count of three, 1, 2, 3. Okay, we'll take one more picture. This time we're going to try and smile. Smile with our teeth. Oh, except Celine, because maybe you're in a place that you cannot take off your mask. Okay, smile with your wonderful, bright, shiny white teeth. Give a smile as big as Cerise on the count of three. 1, 2, 3. Awesome. Okay, so do we have any questions or anything that we need to discuss? If you have question, please go ahead and type it or raise your hand and ask a question. Or if you have something, feedback on anything that we talked about so far this morning.
Hi, Chris. Celine
Yes,
here.
Celine.
Can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Okay. This was what I share with the groups that maybe it's not much related to sales, but
That's fine.
just now you were sharing about goal setting and all this. Like
Right.
for myself, I'm concurrently running two businesses,
Yes.
starting two businesses at the same time.
Right.
And at times I found
Challenging,
it
right?
challenging, and when suddenly things
Stressful.
stressful, just
Yeah.
like how I have to hop on, hop off just now because of delivery
Right.
and things like that and all this. So in terms of a mindset,
Right.
how should that be segregated or wanting to get the things done but being hold back because of disorganized or unable to get consistent, and which business is prioritized, and sometimes if I focus this, the other would be left behind and things like that.
Yeah. That's called life. Sometimes life gets in the way. So let's do this. Everybody understands Celine's question? Yes? Yes? Okay. Does anybody have any suggestions or an answer for Celine? See, right now, Celine, we have the benefit of about 20 people that all 20 of us can crack our heads to answer this question. Nadrul, it looks like you might have an answer.
No?
No, I'm still thinking of the answer.
Or you're still thinking of the question? Okay. Anybody have any suggestions for Celine? Victor's like, please don't call my name. You have an answer, Victor? Or a suggestion?
Sorry, I mean, sorry, I mean, just in case I interpret the questions
Okay.
wrong.
Sure. The question is, Celine is running two businesses, and each of those two businesses are different, correct, Celine? Very different. And each one of those has the responsibilities. So how can she apportion or schedule her time when she's not in control of some of the things that happen in their business which interrupt the other business? That's basically the question, right, Celine?
Yes. Yeah. Thank you,
Okay.
Chris.
Yeah. Valerie, you have something?
Yes, I think this is
You
correct.
experienced that too, right?
Yes, I'm handling not two but three
Okay.
businesses. So I think if I am on the shoes of Celine, I think what I will do is delegate and then time management. So for example, I have trustworthy people that I can delegate sensitive issues like finance and operations, might as well the sales, as long as all these businesses, if there would be problems, that the troubleshooting of the problem should be within my consent, because I noticed that some, oh no, not some, but most of the customers, they are at ease if the owner is the one solving their problems. So I realized that. So I noticed that whenever I have clients, handling objections, I usually give it to our boss, the owner of the company, and then I just see to it that all the uh, business letters, the communications, they are all copied in the email, so that the client would be able to have a peace of mind that the owner knows anything or everything about the problem being solved. That's it.
Did that kind of make sense to you, Celine?
Yeah. Thanks, Valerie.
Thank
Okay.
you. Happy to help.
Thank you.
Does anybody have any other suggestions? Kwan, you look like you got something.
I think regimentation is a good one. Allocate certain times just to deal with us company A and certain times just to deal with company B. It
Right.
will not be perfect every single day, but at least you
Absolutely.
have a certain discipline around it, so you can
Right.
turn on and off your minds as you see fit.
Right.
Hopefully that helps.
I'll add a little bit to that. You know, when we follow up with clients or follow up with prospects, right? We always say something like this: "I'll give you a call tomorrow at 10 o'clock," because we want to be like very specific, right? The problem with that is that they are not sitting there at their desk tomorrow at 10 o'clock saying, "Oh, you know what? It's 9:59. Chris is going to call me at 10 o'clock. Don't bother me. Put this away and set everything aside because Chris is going to call me at 10 o'clock." Do you think that happens? It doesn't happen. So, I, unless I'm very specific in a particular situation, but when I follow up, I will say something like, "I'll call you between 10 and 10:15, or between 10 and 10:30 tomorrow morning. Is that okay?" What have I done? You see, when we set our appointments or follow up, for example, right? We will say, "Okay, I'll use 15-minute intervals." Let's say you call John. You set John at 10 a.m. You set Alex at 10:15, and then you set William at 10:30, right? This is what happens, right? You call John at 10 a.m. John doesn't answer, and then you're like, "I'm supposed to call him at 10." Then you're shy to call again, okay? But what happens is now you have 15 minutes where you have nothing until you're supposed to call Alex at 10:15. Alex doesn't answer.
Then you got to wait another 15 minutes to call William. So the reason I do this is like, let's say I will tell John, I will tell Alex, and I'll tell William, I will call between 10 and 10:30. Then that way I got three people to call during that time. If John doesn't answer, I can go straight to William. William doesn't answer, I can go straight to Alex. Does that make sense? And then, Celine, you can block out your time for this particular activity. But let's say for this particular activity with this particular company, but you also block out this time while you're waiting for something to happen here. You can do something else that doesn't take 100% concentration and focus. That way, while you're waiting for this to happen, you can do this. Does that make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Do we have any other questions, comments, feedback on anything that you want to talk about? Final call. Last chance. Okay. I'll share one more thing. You know what? I'll share this tomorrow. I'll share this tomorrow. Okay, let's do this. I'm going to officially end our session right now. It's about 12:45. I will see all of you tomorrow morning before 9:30. We do start on time. Okay, and the link that you use today is going to be the same link that you will use tomorrow. If for some reason the link doesn't work, which it should, if it doesn't work, or if you have issues coming in, or you cannot find the link again, just go back to the registration and hit that again, and you'll get your link back. All right. So I'll be here for another 1 to 2 minutes, or as long as somebody's asking a question. But we have officially ended our first half day, and I'll see you all tomorrow morning. I want to give everyone an acknowledgement. Thank you for paying attention. Thank you for asking the questions. And thank you for being you. What I'd like you to think about today is I want you to really think about the exercise that we did, your why, your motivation, what are you going to do about it, and are you happy with your current results, your current situation, and your current income? If the answer is no, then do something about it. All right. So thank you, everyone. Whatever we're doing for the rest of the day, put in 100%. And I wanna just mention blessings for all of us. Stay safe, and let's take care of yourself, your family, and each other. All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, Chris.
Thank you.
Thank
We'll
you,
see you all
Chris.
tomorrow morning.
See you.
Okay.
Bye.
Thanks,
Thank you.
Chris.
Thank you. Thank you.
So
Thank
Chris,
you. Bye.
need to re-register again for tomorrow's section, is it? Or can
No.
I use the same link?
Use the same link.
Oh, okay. All right.
Okay.